Hello, good afternoon to Thames Cruise from Tower Bridge to Westminster and come back.
We will pass by many places and the points of interest. If you like, and it is up to you, I can stand here, I can continue on the microphone, I can join you for the cruise, and I can point out a few places along the way in the form of a live commentary. Is this okay? How about another show of hands for the commentary today? Each of the bridge footings beneath the towers, there is a giant counterweight mechanism, and that is what causes each of the bascules to raise to up to a 90-degree position in around 45 seconds. Now, Tower Bridge, it was the opening ceremony was on the 30th of June, which is also today, but in 1894, so it's actually its birthday today, celebrating its 131st birthday. So 1894, the bridge. Now, some say it looks older. Okay, now it was built in keeping with the tower to your right, and you can see the entry to the Traitors' Gate. Okay, the archway there, that is where you would have been taken if you were a traitor, if you were guilty of a treason. So the Tower of London is probably most famously known as a place of torture, imprisonment and execution. And if you were a traitor, you'd be rowed down the river from the Houses of Parliament, taken through that archway, and you would have entered the Bloody Tower. Now, you can't see the Bloody Tower as it's behind the bloody trees. It is over there. The following morning, we would have had your head surgically removed from your shoulders. Okay, the method, it was the blunt axe and the chopping block. They would have chopped off your head. If you were royalty or nobility, your head would be displayed on a spike on London Bridge as a gruesome deterrent to warn off any would-be traitors. And on your left, you can see two ships. We've got the HMS Belfast. See the warship, you see the name of it on the stern of the ship there. It's been permanently moored here since the 1970s. It is a C-35 Town-class cruiser. Saw action during the Second World War. Last fired its guns during the Korean campaign in the early 1950s. It was the flagship for the United Nations. It's a floating museum, and as you can see, it also acts as a berth for visiting ships. The Centre of Environmental Fisheries and Science, CFAS endeavour. So it's a survey vessel visiting London. Now, the Belfast is open to the public. It's part of the Imperial War Museum. It was built in Belfast in Northern Ireland on St Patrick's Day, 1938. Looking up to your left, well, there's a very rare sight here in London. It's called the sun. Thankfully, it's made an appearance. Thank goodness for that. And also on the left, there is the Shards, the UK's tallest building. Over 1,000 feet tall, goes up 95 stories. Inside the Shards, there are hotels, offices and apartments. Now, the most expensive, and then when they qualify, they go and clean the Shard. Now, ahead of the boat is London Bridge. Okay, this is the 5th London Bridge to cross the river at this location in as many as 2,000 years. So the Romans, they built the first ever river crossing here in around 43 AD. This present day bridge, the one you're looking at, and you'll see the name either side. This one was opened in 1973 by Queen Elizabeth II, and this is said to be the 5th London Bridge. And the one before this one, so the 4th London Bridge, in the late 1960s, it was taken down stone by stone. Each individual stone was numbered, and it was shipped across the Atlantic, reassembled in Lake Havasu City in Arizona. established in 1615. So there's been a riverside pub there for over 400 years, and the likes of William Shakespeare, Samuel Pepys, Charles Dickens, myself and the captain, just a few of the famous Englishmen, some of the pints in that pub. And ladies and gents, we have decided here, the actors get wet, and so does the audience. Okay, they do not stop the performance, and this is where we get the famous expression, the show must go on. There's also no toilets. So it is very much to pee, or not to pee. That is the question. And you can go and see a play in it, it's very good value. You can see a live performance for as little as £10 each, which I'm sure you will agree. Very good value for live entertainment, especially in London, only a tenner. And live is always better. Live music, live theatre. And how's the live commentary going so far? Is everybody happy? Excellent. Very encouraging, folks. I know it's a hot one, but hopefully we're all enjoying it nonetheless. Okay, we'll continue. So we'll go to the left. And you see the building. It was the tallest building in London right up until 1962. So before then, it was actually illegal to build anything taller. It took 35 years to build, and the architect himself, Wren, he's buried in the crypt, laid to rest alongside Lord Nelson and the Duke of Wellington. Now these are the Blackfriars Bridges. Okay, the bridges here, they're built very close together. Sir Isaac Newton. Now they are four of this country's greatest thinkers, or greatest scholars, and they were carved into the building as inspiration. Now you might have noticed, or you may or may not have noticed, the boat is very quiet. Okay, the engines, well, they're not really doing a lot of work. Okay, we've actually been carried up the river with the tide. There's a very fast flowing current, flows at about 5 or 6 miles an hour. And the level is rising, it's flooding into London. So look along the river's wall here to your right. You see the green moss line. Okay, that is how high the river rises, a height of 7 metres. And just after 6 o'clock this evening is high tide. Now looking closely now, underneath the lampposts, you might have noticed these lions' heads. Now today these lions, they are entirely decorative, but they were once used as an early flood warning. Not so long ago, the police, well, they would patrol the embankments, and if one of these lions' heads was covered, submerged in water, the London Underground, and they try and reenact that famous scene from the film Titanic. And I have no idea you can draw. Now there is another ship here on the right. Can you see the black and white ship with the portholes? Okay, this is the old St. Catherine. Now this used to be the royal barge. Okay, many members of the royal family, if they would travel here on the river, this was the ship they'd sail upon, the old St. Catherine. Now, as you can see, it's looking a bit sad and sorry for itself today, a little bit neglected. The royal family today, they have a new boat, the Gloriana, beautifully hand-painted in gold. And they just leave that one there for when Harry and Meghan return to London. It is the spare. And on your left, the building with the black sign there behind the trees there, that is this country's National Theatre. Now, unfortunately, it does look like a multi-storey car park. It has been voted as the ugliest building. Every single year, London's leading architects, they believe it is the ugliest. However, inside you'll find the Cottesloe, the Littleton and the Olivier Theatres, and they are three of this country's finest playhouses. Now this is Waterloo Bridge, and as we get a bit closer and look up at the bridge, look up to the left and just above us here, and you'll see bullet holes. Now the workers, Jubilee, are 50 years. It seems like a long time ago. That's why it was. There you go, friendly people. Now looking up to your left, there is the Millennium Wheel, the London Eye. Can't miss it. That is London's most popular. John, if you want to come up. John. Oh dear. Well, the captain has just informed me that John has changed his mind. Sorry if anybody was called John. Now, somebody said it, you're quite right, the Eiffel Tower in Paris, that is the most romantic place to propose. But the London Eye, it does come in second. Now, if anyone is planning on proposing on the London Eye, just a quick word of advice. make sure they're going to say yes, as it does take half an hour to complete a rotation. Because you get up there, excellent views, it is very romantic. If you get to the top and they say no, sorry, I will not marry you today, that could be a very long and awkward 15-minute trip from the top all the way back down, or at least it was for me. Now looking ahead of you and up to the right, there is the Houses of Parliament, the new palace